Well, welcome everybody. I am Bart Loser, and I am the chairman of the Continuing Education program, which I really encouraged the district to begin doing about 4 or 5 years ago. And we've been developing and building a program. And this particular meeting tonight will be a part of that program. So we're recording this meeting and then putting it into our recording library where people can access this at any time. So please feel free to ask questions as we go along. There will be, after a formal presentation, opening up for each of the panelists a little bit of a question and answer period. You can also go to the chat room and put in information there and chat either to me personally, or you can chat to everyone if you prefer to do that, or chat specifically to others here in the room in private chats. But ideally, if you have a question or anything, please make sure that I see it at least. That would be great. And I'm Bart Loser, your moderator for tonight. So we will go ahead and get started. We have 3 great panelists on board who have varying degrees of expertise in PR and in running and putting together these particular websites, including Vishal. And so Vishal will be our first speaker. So we have Vishal Aslat, we have Stephen Hall, and Donnie Wujaj. Now, Donnie, it says Wujaj? Wijaya, thank you. I always like to get that right. So Donnie Wijaya. So and they will be speaking in this particular order. So let's go ahead, and I will just tell you why we put this together.
Why is he listed twice? Does he have a twin?
Just a moment. Let me get Sarah, if you wouldn't mind putting yourself on mute. Well, I can mute you. There you go. Thank you. The reason why we put this program together is because I, like many of you, aren't quite happy with our web presence. One of my clubs that I had started, Austin Pride Toastmasters, has 3 places where people can find information about us. One is Toastmasters International, which is the first thing that you'll see come up if you search for us. The second is Easy Speak, which is where our database is and where our members can sign up for information. And we've got some good information on our club. I just don't like what it looks like. And I'll show you in a moment what that looks like. And then I've also looked at a lot of websites and thought, I would love for our website to look like this. Well, one of the other places that we are present on is Facebook, and many of you guys use Facebook, but I don't consider that our website. I think that we can do a better job with that information. I would go ahead and share with you just a little, my screen for the moment, because I'll also be working with Vishal and sharing part of his particular program. And so I will go ahead and there we go. So, and share this. There we go. So developing a sharp website. So can you guys see this? I'll go ahead and start the slideshow. Excellent, thank you. Good. So developing a sharp club website, we have, of course, our 3 panelists tonight, and I'll be your moderator. But there were some things I wanted to show you guys about what I saw that I thought would be a great website as far as what I think works well. And so one of the things that I've found, and let me see if I can pull this up. Let's see here. Can you guys see this, the website here? This is our Austin Pride website that we have on Easy Speak.
You cannot see the website.
Oh, you cannot. Oh, okay. Let me see if we can restart this. So I will get back to sharing the screen here. There we go. And where is share my desktop? There we go. And let me show you guys. So can y'all see that? This is our Austin Pride website, which has lots of great information, but being on Easy Speak and in that particular platform, there's very little we can do to change how it is set up. So you can find a little bit of information on the far right side about our club, but it's not easy to find, and it's just difficult to use, and it's not particularly attractive. One of the particular clubs that I thought had one of the best websites of all is Austin Toastmasters. Now, their website looks interesting, it looks exciting. They have places where they can have up-to-date information that stands out. They give lots of information about their club. and what's going on with the club, the news, where they're located, where you can get information about becoming a member or their meeting information, various links, as well as step-by-step how to join. And then at the bottom are links to all sorts of wonderful tools that their members could use. I love this particular website, but there are many other good ones out there. And so we'll go ahead and start with our, let me switch this particular program here. And our first presenter is going to be Vishal Aslat. And Vishal has been a Toastmasters member for 8 years. He currently belongs to 2 Toastmaster districts and 3 clubs. So he's a go-getter and currently serving as the District 55's webmaster. Vishal is pursuing presentation mastery, motivation strategies, and dynamic leadership paths. Please welcome Vishal to our panel. Vishal.
Thank you, Bart. Thank you for that very gracious introduction. Would you please bring up my presentation?
I will. Thank you. Let's hit screen share. Go, and I will start the program in just a sec. There we go, slideshow on. All right, so here we go with your slideshow.
Thank you, Bart. My goal in this presentation is really to pose more questions than answers, because answers you will find plenty on the internet. Of course, whenever you're looking for answers on the internet, you have to be a little bit careful because internet has no quality control. So you have to see where you get your information from. However, there are a lot of legitimate and good sources of information. So what I really want you to think about are some of these questions. Why do you want a website? Why isn't what you already have is not good enough, right? And I think it's before you launch into creating a whole new website, which is no small effort in terms of time, it might even cost you a little bit of money depending on which platform you pick. I think we'll hear more about that from our other panelists. But it is time, energy, and money. So you have to think very hard about what is that you want out of your website. And I broke it up into two categories here. One is what happens during the Toastmasters business. So think about your Toastmasters meeting, think about your officer meeting, think about your open houses, think about your contests, and then think about your website during off hours. When you are living your life, you're going about your business, family, work, other activities, you're not thinking about Toastmasters, but your website is still there. People are potentially visiting it. What are they going to see? Okay. So you have to be cognizant of that as well. Next slide, please. Now, I want to emphasize this here because website is just one of the many things you can do to promote your club, to keep your membership engaged and your club vibrant. So overall, I would say what you really want is a social media strategy. Now, this is easier to do with community clubs and corporate clubs. Many corporate clubs, like the one I belong to, IBM or NVIDIA, have strict rules about what you can post outside. For example, we're not allowed to have Facebook page, right? Or you are not allowed to have certain kind of website because of security issues. So you may have limitations on what you can do. Nevertheless, you want to make the most of the tools available to you, whether they are website, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, meetup groups, various chatting programs such as Slack or GroupMe, WhatsApp, whatever you're planning to use. So my advice here is that don't wing it, have a plan for it. Again, because think in terms of cost, in terms of who's going to maintain this, who's going to respond to those queries, for example, who's going to get back to the visitors who have questions. Is your message consistent across all media? You posted about your contest on Facebook, but not on LinkedIn. So the more platforms you span into, the more work it is for you. And you want the biggest bang for the buck. So think about which platforms you want to promote your club on. Next slide, please. When you're building a website, now we're just talking about the website, there are two things you have to be aware of One is how to actually build a website, the mechanics of it, right? How to write, code, or how to drag and drop, and how to actually build a website, which is a little bit of a technical skill. You may have members in your club who are technically oriented. They enjoy that kind of work. Those are the people you want to tap into. And then there are people who are more artistic, more creative. They are excellent writers. They want to create content. And those should be the people who should be taking pictures and posting them in an interesting way, or creating interesting posters and flyers for your upcoming events. So you need to think about both categories, creating the website and creating content. As a webmaster for District 55, when I took on the job about 2.5 years ago, I had a very strict condition for District Director Wafa Owen back then that I will not create content. First, I'm very bad at it. And two, I really don't have the time. But I'll be very happy to post the content in the most interesting way and most accessible way I could. So that's something you want to think about also. Next slide. The website has to serve some purpose. And there are two that I could come up with. Perhaps as you go into this discussion for the rest of the hour, more will come up. But the two main things that, for example, websites like easyspeak.org or Free Toast Host 2 allow you to do is manage your club, which means managing your membership. You have a current list of members that you can assign roles to every week. You want to be able to create agenda, right? Creating agenda is nice. It's one of the first impressions, best practices. You also want to be able to track educational goals and achievements of your members. Now it's gotten a little bit easier with Pathways because everything is digital, but these websites still allow you to track the educational goals and achievements of your members, which is something you want to do. So these are the three club business activities that most people like to track on digital platforms rather than paper and pencil, I would think. Next slide, please. And then you have to think about your website for visitors. Like I said, the off hour, the peak off hour website, when people are visiting your websites and you're not conducting club business right now, you're just serving the community in some way and you're not aware of it. I'm a big fan of moments of truth. If you have done the officer training, you are hopefully intimately familiar with moments of truth. These are the 6. I listed them here for reminder: first impression, membership orientation, fellowship, variety communication, program planning and meeting organization, membership strength, and achievement recognition. I want you to think about your content on the website. To make your website interesting, you could perhaps leverage the 6 points on your website. For example, first impression, make it easy to find your club. Make it easy to contact your VPE or president, right? Membership orientation. Put a little bit about Pathways, right? Or put links to Pathways. So when new members come in and you say, hey, I want you to go fill out your profile and pick a path, maybe there's something on your website that tells them where to go. Fellowship, variety, and communication. Take some pictures of your contest. Maybe post the award ribbons or something, weekly pictures or something, make it interesting. So when someone looks at it, they say, oh, these people have so much fun at their club. I want to go visit them. And similar things, achievement recognition, right? Brag about if your member won a contest, area contest or division contest, or even club level achievement recognition. So I believe that you can take the moments of truth. This is an easy way to create interesting content, which will serve you well. Okay. But one of the minimum things you have to do is to make it easy for people to find your website. And that means doing a little bit of work to make sure when somebody Googles for it, they can find it. Or when somebody searches for it on the Facebook, they can find it. It's a little bit of a different question than moments of truth here that I listed content. And I think our panelists might go deeper into how to make your website easy to find. It's called SEO, search engine optimization. Next, please. And finally, I want to mention to you Toastmasters branding. This is specific to Toastmasters website. Of course, everything you learn here today is applicable to whether you're building a website for your church or organized sport or your company. But you always have to be aware of branding. Just yesterday, I posted something on our homepage and immediately I got an email and text from Kathy and said, sorry, that color is not branded. You need to change it. And so I had to go change it. you need to be aware of the Toastmasters logos, colors, fonts, and taglines, and adhere to it as best as you can. I think it will actually be helpful to you, as you will see in the long run. And I believe that might be my final slide here. So thank you, Bart. I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Vishal. And I want to be able to open this up to questions you guys may have either to Vishal or to our other panelists. And of course, we'll have their presentations as well, but we'll just open it up for a few moments to answer some questions. And we did have a few in the chat room. One was a great question at the very beginning from Sally. She asks, how do we access the recording library? Where you have recordings like this meeting or many other types of educational programs. And we've been doing these continuing education programs now for almost 3 years. So we've got a lot of recordings already in the library, and all you have to do is go to the TMD 55, that's Toastmaster District 55.org website, where you can find out so much information that's going on with the district. But they have headings there in that on that first page, that home page that Vishal runs. And one of the areas is resource library. So you can go to the resource library, and Vishal and I are working on organizing that library to make it really easy to find things by topic and such. But there's a lot of great educational programs that you can find on there. Let's see if we have some other questions here. Ange says, thanks Vishal for the informative presentation, and asks the question, how do you manage social media with consistency and efficiency? We might ask that of all three of our panelists, but Vishal, if you'd go first.
Certainly. So as I said, the two clubs that I belong to, actually, all three of them are corporate clubs, and we don't really have anything other than the club's internal website that's only accessible to company employees. An IBM club uses easyspeak.org, so it is somewhat accessible to outside, but you can't really see anything else inside. My other clubs at NVIDIA Corporation, where I work, they manage all the club business using actually Google Spreadsheet. They've written custom scripts to manage their agenda, their membership, weekly role assignments. I don't know why they did that, but that's what they like to do. They're engineers. So we don't have a lot of social media presence. Unfortunately, we do use Slack very consistently and very heavily at both companies, IBM and NVIDIA clubs. But let me talk about District 55. We do have social media presence there, and I'm not responsible for all of them. Just this year, I became the Facebook admin along with our PRM, Violeta. And so I do post things on Facebook. I don't manage LinkedIn or Twitter or Instagram. Our PRM manages those. But I do consistently post videos like this. As Bart mentioned, we have built up a very nice library of literally tens of videos. Our YouTube membership or subscribers have gone from less than 50 to over 200 in a couple of years. So our district website, tmd55.org, and our YouTube is something I do consistently manage. I spend about 4 hours a week managing both of those, so it's not too bad. I usually catch up on my Sundays.
Thank you for that, Vishal. And I'll ask of our other moderators, our other panelists, either Donnie or Stephen, how do you manage social media with consistency and efficiency? Do you have a particular method that you're using for that?
So I'm currently managing the Arboretum Toastmasters Facebook group. And if you use strictly Facebook and Instagram, since they are both in the same company, you can manage them easily through Facebook Business Manager. It is a built-in tools from Facebook. If you open a Facebook page, on the Facebook as an admin, you will have option to access your Business Manager, and you can easily go in there. Now the challenge for being consistency and efficient is a different thing, right? Like efficient is you can just use Facebook Business Manager and you can schedule your meetings. I mean, like your posts basically ahead of time. Facebook even give you some suggestion, for example, like hey, you need they have like an overview of the calendar, so you can go like say, hey, how many times do you want to post every day, or like multiple times a day, right? It's very easy to manage. Now for being consistency, the challenge for being consistency is, one is the branding. I'm not a good person who followed the Toastmasters branding because it requires a lot more work for me. Like, even though you say like, oh yeah, just like follow this few branding, but you can, if you really want to go with the branding, you can go with some tools such as like Canva. Canva like lets you build those images for like a social media. It's free, and you can. I'm not sure if the branding comes with a free account or you have to buy the license for the branding. But Canva is one of them. But the main challenges that I'm facing for managing the social media is, how do you provide quality content? And as Vishal mentioned at the beginning, always think about who is the person's going to be reading the social media. So if you talk about, let's say, I want to use social media to recruit people, right? Then you should be able to speak their language. One of the questions that came to our discussion with Bart and Stephen yesterday is, how do you describe Toastmasters to new people who doesn't know anything about Toastmasters without using the word leadership, public speaking, and communication? Because honestly, nobody cares about leadership. When you talk about leadership, if you are talking about, oh, I'm a salesperson, you're talking about leadership, they're thinking like, I don't really want to be a manager. That's my 5-10 years like plan. I just want to meet my quota. How can Toastmasters help me complete my goal as a salesperson, not as a manager? If I cannot get into my sales, I will never get to manager, no matter what. Okay, no matter how good you speak, if you cannot get, so how do you communicate that specific goals to them? They say like, this is how Toastmasters gonna help them. And that's the challenge. If you can figure out how to speak, how to explain Toastmasters without using leadership, public speaking, and communication excessively, I think that's a good start.
Thank you, Donnie. And you make a really good point here that we want to try to step away from some of the language or jargon that we use in Toastmasters so easily that can turn people off, such as somebody who is not currently a leader and doesn't see them as a leader. So telling them that we will build your leadership skills, they don't see why that should benefit them. And people only do something if they see what's in it for them. So we need to fit their needs. And you may not know what someone is joining Toastmasters for, but generally people have certain needs in life. And I love describing Toastmasters as an opportunity to do several things. One of the skills that you learn in Toastmasters is how to give support that comes across positive, motivating, and supportive. Most people have a difficulty being able to criticize or give feedback in a way that comes across that way. Thus, it leads to conflict. Toastmasters teaches you how to actually build the bridges so that people are more willing to learn and follow. So that's just one of the areas that I try to encourage people as a benefit without using the specific language of communication, leadership, and such. So thank you for that, Donnie. And Stephen, do you have anything you want to add before you go on? And I do want to let everyone know that Vishal will have to leave here at 7:30, so he's going to probably be getting off in about 1 minute. So, and I did have one other question that I will just address after Vishal leaves, but I do want to see, Stephen, if you have anything you wanted to add to that.
Sure. Vishal posted in the chat the TI, that is Toastmasters International Branding Guide, and that has everything you wanted to know and then some about colors, layout, typography, logos. It's pretty exhaustive and quite useful at the same time. So if you're building a site from scratch and you want to keep it looking official, or you want to do any club memorabilia advertising things, there's some rules you have to follow so as we don't is it adulterate, is that a word, the TI logo. And so check out that link that Vishal shared with us. And to Ange's question about consistency across media and your website, TI looks one way, your personal club website might look a different way, different colors, different feel. And then Facebook and Instagram and I don't know, name other social media platforms, or even between the Free Toast Host and Easy Speak, which maybe we'll talk about in a minute, they all have a different look to them. So it's actually, Ange, pretty difficult to have consistency across all the different touch points with your prospects and your members.
Great point, Stephen. And one thing I want to let everybody on the call know is that the district has a position called the PRM. That's the Public Relations Manager, who is somebody who can help you with this information. So if you have questions about the branding and such, she's one person you can turn to for a resource, as well as almost anyone on the current trio. And the person who is our PRM for this particular period is very experienced, and she's actually teaching a class on accreditation, how to be accredited as a PR specialist. And so she's actually training people on that, but she can help direct you toward the answer, if not help you directly. So that would be great to turn to her. So next, I want to go ahead and present our second panelist, who is Stephen Hall. And Stephen, he is a DTM who's celebrating 10 years with Dell Toastmasters. He's created his first website in 1995 and has enjoyed website creation as both a hobby and a side hustle since then. Stephen served as the district webmaster for 3 years before handing over the reins to Vishal. So Stephen is one who's responsible for anything Vishal does that goes wrong, right? But he did turn it into Vishal's capable hands. So please welcome Stephen Hall.
All right, thank you, everyone. Actually, tying into Ange's question about consistency, that was a great question. And I'll ask later how technical y'all want to get with things. But oftentimes the first contact that a prospect has with Toastmasters or your club is going to the Find a Club page. And I hope that's displaying for everyone. Can y'all see the sharing a website? Okay, thank you. And the question of the year, right? Can you see my screen? All right. So when you find a club, someone might say, hey, here's your first introduction. And we don't have any control over this site since TI is just the database. But if you have the visit this website link here, and in the case, this is my other club, it links to a custom website. We registered Master Speakers of Austin, Texas, or msatx.org, where we have 100% control over this. And we can talk about where to host it, how to make websites, if y'all are interested in that. So this is a good way to have a custom look and feel, but you'll notice there's no TI branding on this. Also, I've decided when we put this simple site together to not worry about Toastmasters brandings. We just did our own thing. So this is good for public relations. But if you click on member login, this goes to our free Toast Host site, which is great for managing agendas and membership things. Hey, wow, there's Bart in that picture. Hey, Bart. So, and agendas. Yeah. So it's Free Toast Host allows you to do some things that you don't want to even try on a personal website, but it's also not really meant for public facing, in my opinion. And that is, you can only put so much information on here for visitors, and that's what your public website might be for. And tying again into Angel's question, we do have a Facebook group that we can't change the look and feel of it, but it's a way of another way of interacting with members, maybe linking to the district's Facebook group. We have our account can comment on the district posts, so we can get some interaction between the two groups. And I think Bart had said, posting awards and trophies and meeting snapshots, whatever, just to keep our presence out there. I meant to say on Free Toast Host, all your if you originally, this is what we would give to prospects. We'd say, yeah, we have a website. It's msa.toastmastersclubs.org, and people trying to write that down, and it was pretty obnoxious. So it was a whole lot easier just to tell everyone msatx.org, and that was an easier way to brand ourselves. So what else we got? Oh, there's the district website, tmd55.org. And my Dell club. Just Vishal was saying, Dell is internal. We don't have access, or we don't want to publicize to our to the public. Well, you can't join Dell Toastmasters unless you're a Dell employee. So we did create a simple website that just tells everyone, hey, Dell has a club. And to get to it, there's a link here that gets to the internal websites for that. That was a kind of an unexpected blurb on doing presence out there. We can talk again some technicalities on platforms and stuff about tying in with Donnie, especially what do you want your users or your prospects to see and learn about you, and we can get as technical as we want, but maybe we'll talk with Donnie first.
Great. If I could ask a question, Stephen, that's on my mind. Is there any, given your experience, which you've got a tremendous amount of experience here in this area, are there any particular do's and don'ts, things that people that you don't see them doing that you want to make sure that they do? And is there some things that you've seen people doing that you said, do not do this?
Ooh, well, we only have 25 more minutes.
Just a few things, if anything sticks out on the top of your head. And I'd open that up to Donnie as well, if he wants to pop in with anything that you guys have seen that worked especially as well. And one of the big ones, of course, is that when do you use the branding and when do you not? Like you suggested that for Master Speaker's website, y'all chose not to worry about the branding, and so you're not dealing with that. Is that potentially a problem?
To me, no. MSATX is literally something I put together kind of quickly when I woke up at 2 a.m. and went, hey, wait, the domain name's available. So I bought it and I registered it, and I put a WordPress site up for that. Branding, I've done that before. The original, when I inherited the district's website, I kept the original branding for a couple of years before we changed it. Do's and don'ts, those not so much about branding, but just in general with websites, that I really like to keep it simple and keep it clean. Lots of white space, lots of lots of gaps around stuff, and not too much graphics. A little bit goes a long way. And whereas we're all volunteers, we all have great intentions, but very few of us are professional graphic artists. So I've seen some pretty terrible graphics out there on other websites. When I was researching about how to reskin tmd55.org. I visited dozens and dozens of other district websites, and some of them are pretty hideous because they just too much color, too much graphics, inconsistency. So keep it simple, keep the information limited. I think we could talk for hours about Toastmasters, but maybe the website's not exactly the right place for that. So put enough there to get them interested, get the contact information, to get them into a meeting, and then you can talk about ad nauseum with that.
You make a wonderful point, especially about the challenge of trying to put too much information on your website. That's why I've seen in my experience where we've tried to tell them too much, like, here's our history, and we take up so much space on that website telling people our history when they may not care what our history is right now. So one thing is you could just have it as a simple little, just a link, and just say, here's our history. And if someone's interested, they can go to that. There's so many things in Toastmasters on their website or on the Toastmaster District 55 website that you could just link to, so that you don't have to spend so much valuable space doing anything where you're taking up, trying to spell out in so many words what it is you're going for. Just enough just to interest them. And if they're interested, they push the button. I'd recommend the same thing with very brief videos. People aren't going to watch a long video, but if you come up with a brief video, a minute or less or something like that, people would probably be interested in pushing on that button. That might be on your website as well. So some great points, Stephen. Donnie, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
I don't think I don't think I have anything to add for that one. I think you guys covered that.
Well, great.
But
well,
I do have one question for Stephen, right? Or maybe for you too as well, Bart, or anybody you want to contribute. What do you think? Let's talk about, like, for example, putting information on social media, because it's easy. You don't have to publish the website. But what do you guys think about just throwing some information out there or nothing at all? What would be better? I know both of them probably not the best information. And so, like, instead of just like randomly throwing, like Stephen said, maybe just like, oh, this is our meeting schedule. And then sometimes, like, you just throwing some random ugly photos or whatever it is, right? Like, and the next day you throw in like the picture of a dog with, I'm not sure what is it, just to kind of like get something, or maybe don't do it at all. What do you guys think?
Well, I hear you saying that we should keep people engaged in the website. You don't want people just to go there once. You want to give them a reason to come back. So that could be either finding out what's happened in recent meetings, seeing recent photos, a new video perhaps. One thing that I've thought would be great is perhaps on our Facebook site is to ask a question like, what is your best technique to do this? And then you have people put their answers in there, but you engage them, and it brings people to that site because they want something that's living, that's growing, that's changing, that gives them a reason to check it maybe once a week or twice a month. So that's something I would suggest, is find unique ways to engage. And Stephen has put in the chat room how to get in touch with our district PRM. That's our public relations manager, who is currently Violetta Rios. But his email address that's in there is for whoever it is that is our PRM each year. And they make a great resource of people to ask when you're limited on ideas, or if you want to know, does this fit the branding for the agency, or is this an issue? And another thing I've always suggested is whenever you have a question, always be willing to just to call up TI, Toastmasters International. They have professionals there that are paid to answer your questions on anything about your club, and that can be also about the PR. So always feel free whenever you have a question to reach out to them, because they are always available. And I'd have to say their customer service is primo. Stephen, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Oh, engagement. I think Donnie is right about activity and keeping things fresh. And I'm a technical person, not a PR person. So I I think engagement is, so I get bothered, focused on colors and techniques and websites and things like that. And Donnie's much more personable than I am, I think. So,
Oh, no.
but I think Facebook is a great vehicle for engagement. What we found on the district website was that people go for information to get something and they come out. They don't go there to chat or make comments. That's what a social media feed is for. So keeping things engaged with members, I think Facebook is a great vehicle for that, because a great majority of people have a Facebook account. It's easy enough to join the group and see postings from that. So,
And I love your idea. I love your idea about having on your website a link to the Facebook page and why they would go there. So chat with us or find out the latest about our recent themes, or give us your feedback here at our Facebook page. And that's a great way to use that Facebook and combine the website with Facebook. So people are thinking, oh, they're all integrated. So that's a great idea. Thank you for that, Stephen. So next we're going to move forward with Donnie's presentation. So I will go ahead and introduce him. So Donnie Wujaha has been learning about digital marketing for the last 2 years. He runs a one-man digital marketing agency that helps small businesses attract local customers. His favorite things in marketing are analyzing data and automatic processes. Wow, you guys are so techie centered and I'm so social. I try to stay away from the techie stuff, but that's why we're glad to have you guys here. So please, Donnie, share with us your perspectives.
All right. So earlier today, we talked about Vishal talking about building the website. And of course, like Stephen also like elaborate more on that. And I want to introduce a new concept that I've learned from the marketing. It's called funnel. So what is funnel? So basically, funnel is a way for us to identify and really understand our customers. And every person, like let's talk about, like let's say Coca-Cola, right? Like or some clothing company. Some people doesn't know about what they do. Like for example, our Toastmaster. Let's just use our Toastmaster to be easier. For people who are not aware of Toastmasters, as I mentioned earlier, when we talk about leadership, it might be way too far for them because they're not really looking into leadership. I just want to be a better presenter for my sales presentation. That's all I care. I'm not looking to be a manager, right? So when you talk about leadership, the word leadership, just throw them off because they're not aware of what Toastmasters actually do. Once they learn, of course, like you kind of go into the funnel and they get more engaged and they start considering the product. Okay, maybe I can join the Toastmaster, assuming we speak the right language to them. So they can go down and further down into the funnel to eventually buy. So now what is the difference between a website and a funnel? A website, it's more like choose your own adventure book, right? So this is a website. I landed into this thing. I see like 5 or 10 buttons possibly that says buy now, call now, sign up for my newsletter, read more blogs, click here to see this, check out these videos, listen to my podcast, whatever it is. Right? So if I'm reading Harry Potter, if Harry Potter was written as choose your own adventure book, I'm probably gonna be the dark Harry Potter that kills everybody and rule the world. So, and Harry Potter will not be the bestseller because it's just a dark Harry Potter. But Harry Potter was written as like a funnel where it just guides you into one storyline. And the story doesn't always have to be the buy now. The story is basically to take the person to go to the next line, to the next funnel. And when you design a website or when you design your social media, always think about the funnel. What I mean by that is, let's talk about social media, for example. You are scrolling through your Facebook on your phone. What makes you stop? It's not the writing. First, it's the visual, right? You're gonna look at something pretty, something attractive, something eye-catching. That's how you stop. And if the visual is attractive enough, you're gonna start reading the headline. So that's pretty much like if this funnel is social media, the first time the awareness is the hook. Like, how do you get their attention? And then you kind of go down into the headline. And then if the headline, for example, tells you, I'm going to show you how to be a leader. Again, the word leader might not be the perfect word, right? Then I'm going to say like, oh, I don't need to be a leader. I'm out. But if you use like something related to who are you trying to recruit exactly? For example, if you are focusing on someone who are looking for jobs and your title says 7 tips to write better resumes. Yes, I will stop there for sure because I'm looking for a job. So that's how you go into the funnel. And there is no rules that says that you can only have one funnel and one website. Okay, you can have, as Stephen showed already, he has the msaatx.org. Indirectly, he's building a funnel, so it's easier for people to identify instead of those long URL to go into the next level. And from what you guys see earlier, the next level is pretty much for members only because that's like where the free toast hosts, right? So if you are a visitor, you don't need to go there. You can just focus on the first website in Stephen's case, so which is fine. So it is, and everybody, of course, like everybody has their own journey, and it's a challenge for us to understand where they're at. I like how Bart earlier described the Toastmasters without using those Toastmasters jargons, right? Because I can actually see myself like, hey, do you want to be persuasive? Do you want to be in the positive environment? It's like, okay, like, yeah, I think I do. You know, I want to be there to learn how to persuade people. I want to be able to explain myself better, and I want to be in this positive environment group, and that what attracts me to come to the meeting. And once I come into the meeting, you can always follow up with them through your email, right? Check like, hey, how are you doing? What's your goal, possibly? Right now, I'm also serving as the membership of like the PR. I mean, like the VP of membership of Arboretum Toastmasters, and I took the challenge of writing email to welcome to respond to the people who requested the information as a challenge to like how do I write a better email? Toastmaster gives you some templates already. If you just search for like welcome membership email, it will they have you like a few, like maybe like a few paragraph, right? That says like, hey, this is Toastmasters, whatever it is. And I feel that it is too formal for me personally. I like to be just more casual and throw in a few like memes, you know. It's like, so it's just to make it more fun, because people don't want to be too serious all the time, I think.
I did have a question, and this could be for you or for Stephen. I think one of the things that can draw someone in and persuade them is showing them what the benefit is. So for instance, if I were to say, when you speak to someone, the impact of your message is not about just the words you say, but I can teach you those words. We can teach people the technique, but it's not knowing the technique that's going to help you be effective. It's practicing that technique and getting feedback on that technique and improving that technique. That's what we do in Toastmasters. So yes, we do teach you the technique, such as I'll teach people how to use the library voice to sound like you care, even in those times when you don't care. You need to sound like you care. And there's a sound of the voice, and I can teach people what that sound is, but you'd have to practice it to be able to learn to master how to use it, when to use it, how high you go up in pitch, how soft you need to make your voice. All of this, you need feedback, coaching. That's what we do in Toastmasters. That's why you belong to a Toastmasters club and keep coming back to the meetings and keep choosing to take on a role where you get an opportunity to speak and practice these skills. So there's lots of different things that will draw people into Toastmasters, but I think Stephen had a great comment where he wanted to say that if you want some tangible how-to technical stuff, he can do a quick 5 minutes, or let's say 3 minutes if you can, on that, Stephen. And what are some how-tos? But again, practicing it is the next step. Getting feedback, changing it up, improving it is what we're all about in Toastmasters. So, Stephen?
Well, here we are about communication, and what I meant, Bart, was we'll just ask our guests, would y'all like to hear about platforms, what sites to go to? Do you have any? I was thinking, we talked about free Toasthost and Easy Speak and build your own website and WordPress. Do y'all have any questions about that, or do y'all want some opinions on those things?
You can just unmute yourself and ask. So that would be great. Sarah? Yes, Sarah.
Okay. Well, I just want to echo what I think Angie mentioned it as well. And I know I remember, like, I'm gonna be honest, I remember creating a website when I was in college, but that was like over 10 years ago. And I haven't created one ever since. But when I heard, hey, you guys can, because right now our issue is that I feel like we have so much duplicate information, and I'm having to like post things in like Facebook and then Microsoft Teams, and it's like just way too many notifications. So I'm trying to like pivot the traffic and consolidate it all in one page, right? When I saw this, I was like, ooh, somebody told me about free toast, but like I didn't know about it. And they said that it didn't work out for them. And we don't have a really big team. We're a small team. So I just wanted to see if, I mean, and also I wanted to learn something new, because it's been a while to like polish those skills as well, because they could definitely, help long-term, not just that toast. But for us, it's trying to consolidate everything in one page and into what Angie said. Do you guys have a template? Because I remember like back in school, we would have a template and then we would just like edit little portions and like add to it. Do you guys have that? I know you mentioned to reference the library, right? Or look it up on YouTube, but like, do you actually have not just like information on like the marketing? I feel pretty comfortable with the marketing side. It's more about like the technical side, because I haven't done that in a long time.
Well, so Donnie posted a link in the chat to Toastmasters International's official branded templates for districts and club websites with, where'd that go? With free Toast, there's no, they give you the template, or it's kind of fixed. So what you see is what you get on free Toast. It's great for agendas mostly, I think, and even for a small team that works well. It's easy to assign roles. Go to toastmastersclubs.org and you can create a free site over there. Easy Speak is, so that's agenda signups. Now you mentioned Microsoft Teams. So this is a corporate club, Sarah? Is that? Oh, we lost her. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
well, I know Microsoft Teams is more of a chat thing, but
Yeah.
I can't recall if she said she was with.
Yeah.
Sarah, are you on there? Are you with a corporate club or is it a community club?
Hi guys, sorry, I'm having technical issues.
Ah.
I'm with HEB.
Okay, HEB, so corporate club,
So
right?
corporate. So Teams is an interesting tool, mostly integrated and maybe into SharePoint would be a way to use that on the back end if you have can have access to an internal SharePoint site. Toastmastersclubs.org is my goal or my suggestion for a really quick website. Easy Speak was a bit technical for me. It grew out of a bunch of add-ons that a couple of guys in England came up with. So easy-speak.org if you want to investigate that. So yeah, I'm a little biased on that one, but try Easy Speak. I noticed that Austin Toastmasters, their website was built on Wix. The district website is run on Weebly. Squarespace is another one. Those are drag and drop website builders. Costs a little bit of money, but they're easy to put a website together. And limited customizations, but at least can't break anything on Wix, Weebly, Squarespace kind of stuff. Again, district websites on Weebly. If you have a more geek, more customization stuff, WordPress runs the internet. I think Donnie said upwards of 70 to 80% of websites actually run on WordPress. And you can have your own domain name instead of being this thing at Easy Speak or this long Toastmasters free toast address. You can get msatx.org or hebtoastmasters.com or something like that if you go register a domain. A little more of a learning curve, but the flexibility and power. Drupal and Joomla or other content management systems, but there's others out there. I'd suggest WordPress. I've done sites in all three of those, and WordPress is what I use now. But that's that was a kind of overview of the technical stuff.
Stephen,
yeah,
could I add something there that in Toastmasters, we're all volunteers, and most people in Toastmasters are more than willing to share their expertise. We have lots of people with lots of expertise in these areas where you just have to put it out there. Hey, I'm looking for someone who's an expert on Easy Speak who can help me learn more about that, or somebody who can help me learn about WordPress, or I've got free Toast and I'm not really sure how this works. Can somebody who's an expert on that get in touch with me and offer me a little coaching? Most likely you have no problem at all finding people in Toastmasters who are willing to help guide you through the process. So those are some great resources, Stephen. And Ange did ask a question, which is what's the main difference to motivation between the community club and a corporate club? And I might address that on my own and then just see if you guys have something else to add. In the community club, anyone can become a member, so it's run in a very different way. Whereas in a corporate club, it's very internal. You're not going to reach out to everyone. You're going to focus on who are within that organization who would qualify for being in it. So your marketing would be very different. How you're promoting the club, what the limitations to what that corporation will allow you to do. Although it's a Toastmasters club, it's got their corporate name on it. They may want a lot of control over that. So that's some of the big differences that will impact you if you have a corporate club versus a community club, which is just a general club that's open to everyone. You guys want to add anything to that, Stephen or Donnie?
Yeah, I think I never been in a corporate club, but like one thing that I feel if I am in a corporate club, I might not be as flexible and open with my subject, because I cannot talk about how bad a certain situation possibly if if the member of the clubs, especially if the member of the club is, some of them are like my higher rank like managers, right? But when I'm in the community club, like most people, like unless you have like a few like co-workers joining you in the community club, which is like very rare. Yeah, you have more flexibility in talking about work environment, just make fun of it, you know, a little bit, just kind of release stress. And actually, one of the reasons I joined Toastmaster is to get away from my office. And which is like kind of a nice break during my lunchtime. That's based on my experience.
And some people may be a member of a corporate club and a community club like Stephen. So we can all choose how we want our experience to be, but it is a very different experience. And I know we're out of time, but I want to thank Stephen and Donnie, as well as Vishal, who had to leave earlier, for their commitment to helping to educate us in this continuing education program. This will be available in our program library, which you can find on the TMD 55 website. Donnie has his email address on here, as well as Stephen has his, and Stephen's is TM Stephen Hall that's PH Stephen, TM Stephen Hall at Gmail, and Donnie is Donnie WI at Gmail. So they're more than happy to perhaps chat with you a little bit further, but I want to thank you all for being here tonight and contributing to this presentation. And we'll see you again at another presentation. Look us up on tmd55.org. Thank you very much, guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.